evening, Techies. Thank you to each and every one of you for joining us today. I, Shashank Sahu, on behalf of DCoders Club, welcomes you all to this interactive live webinar titled Gateway to Google. This is the second webinar of our Gateway to MNC series. Today, we have invited Aaron and Ashley as our guests. Aaron is a software engineer at Google and a YouTuber too. Accompanying him, we have Ashley, who is also a YouTuber and an intern at ADP. Uh, Over to you, Divya.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. So we have with us our special guest for today's webinar, and they are live straight away from New York. We have Mr. Aaron and Miss Ashley with us. Aaron sir is a software engineer in Google at New York, and he's also a graduate from Rutgers University with majors in computer science. And Miss Ashley is a CS major student there, as well as an intern in ADP. Apart from this, they also have a YouTube channel and they post amazing stuffs there related to technology preparation for getting into such companies and what the webinar is about. They post such relatable content there as well. So I request all of you to please subscribe to their channel after this session. You'll be getting much more stuffs there. So continuing with the session, I would request Aaron sir to please take over and explain his journey with us and enlighten us with his words.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, man, loud and clear.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes,
Great.
sir.
Great. So, very happy to be here. Guys are really awesome. Like, it's a very professional club. Honestly, I think this is a really top-notch way of organizing a club. I love what you guys are doing. So, and I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, for sure. We're very happy. Good evening, Techies, and we're excited to be here and be able to share our experiences and what in our journey in CS.
So I started software engineering very late, I think, because this is my first job out of college, and I'm 28 years old. So I think that's like when you're young, I think 28 sounds like you're a very old man. So I started college. I started coding very late in my life. So I used to do a lot of different jobs that had nothing to do with coding. So once I left high school in 2010, I started learning business. I wanted to open up my own business one day, be a CEO or whatever. That was the dream. So I was like, I'm gonna learn how business works. But it turns out that I was like a horrible student in college. Would never go to class, would never do my homework. And I actually got academically suspended from school, believe it or not. So I got a letter one day that I was not allowed in school anymore for my grades. And I had to go to my parents and imagine that, to tell my parents, hey, I got kicked out. So many years after that, I started working construction, working different jobs, man, from even garbage man at in New York City for like a couple of days for some money, like a lot of different stuff. Like I did stockbroker in Wall Street, also a lot of different stuff. And I was trying to find my way in life. And then one day I was in Wall Street and I was like, this is not for me. I didn't like the life. And I told Ashley, hey, I want to change. I'm looking for something else to do in my life. And actually, Ashley showed me a video of computer science. And I was like, all right, I'll check it out. Bill Gates was on the video saying how it's so great to code and all that. I was like, I'll give it a shot. I took a class in Wall Street, and turns out that all these stockbrokers and all these Wall Street people are learning how to code in Python. And because they're losing their jobs to AI, machine learning and all that. So they're trying to find new skills. And then I was there in class and I loved it. I loved coding. And that was the first time I saw it. And that class basically started me up, and I went to community college after that. Not a prestigious school. Community college is basically like high school for big kids. So it's not like a prestigious school at all. And I was even in, I'm giving you guys this background, this story to tell you this is I'm no genius to make it to Google, okay? So like, it just, you have to do concrete steps. You have to like change your life, want to do something and work towards it. And I think you could do it. So then in community college, I wanted to join a club, actually like a club like yours, you know, like a CS club. And it turned out that like the leader of the club was like, hey, do you know data structures? Do you know algorithms? And I was like, year one, first class in college. First, I was learning C++ for like beginners, right? And I was like, no, I don't know I don't even know what data structures are. I never heard of algorithms. What is that? And he told me, okay, if you don't know that, then you're not allowed in the club. And so he basically kicked me out of the club in community college. And he didn't give me a shot. So like 2 years passed and I was like, man, maybe I could find the club in my next school. I never found the club. I never got into one because I was too busy like catching up on homework. And you know, like when you have a partner, like me and Ashley been dating for many years, but like you still got to make time for like a relationship, right? So it's costly, you know, you got to make your trade-offs. So I stayed with computer science all throughout college. And got an internship at ADP. That's where Ashley's working. Well, she just worked there in the summer. And I think that helped me get into Google later. But like, it was a struggle. Like, it wasn't like, it wasn't an easy journey to get to Google. It was definitely like, I never set out to like make it to Google. Like, you know, making it to Google is like, for me, and making it to like a professional team, like, you know, Barcelona, Real Madrid, like, you know, it's like the NBA for me. But it's not what I set out to do. What I did, I was like, look, I want to work as a software engineer because I want to have a family with Ashley. I want to be a person that like can take care of my family and you know, like do money doing something that I love to do. And I applied to like hundreds of places, hundreds. And like, I only got interviewed at two places. One was like, one was ADP, which gave me a job. And the other one was Google. Like, I was like, out of hundreds of places you could apply to, only 2 companies answered me. And one of them was Google. I was like, what? But when I got that Google interview, it's a great feeling. Like, you're like, wow, like Google is going to hire me. And like, I don't think I've said this on YouTube and I haven't shared it yet. So you guys are gonna be the first to hear. Like, I actually got an interview with Facebook before I got an interview with Google. Facebook reached out to me. I think they were just recruiting in my school and they happened to fall on my resume and they sent me an email and they said, hey, Aaron, we want to give you an interview. And I tell you the truth, like it was like the beginning of my senior year. And so I knew data structures, I knew algorithms, but I didn't like know it, you know, like I took the class, but that doesn't mean like, you know how to code everything. So I didn't feel confident. And I felt so insecure to try to make it to Facebook that I didn't even answer the email. The email from Facebook for the interview, I didn't even answer it. I was like, nah, like I'm not ready. I'm not Facebook material. I'm not good enough to do that. And I basically rejected myself. I didn't even try. And months later, at the end of my senior year, I was like, you know what, I'm dumb. Like I should have just went for it. And I reached out to the Facebook recruiter and I was like, hey, I'm sorry I didn't answer your email. He was like, too bad. Like I have like so many more candidates by now, like too bad. He's like, next time have a little bit more confidence. Believe in yourself. And if I could leave you guys with anything is like, believe in yourself. Like none of you know exactly what a recruiter is looking for. And you never know by giving yourself that shot, like you're never gonna have the perfect resume. You're never gonna have the perfect projects. You're never gonna be perfect, but like, you're gonna have to just try because you never know. And then that's basically that's what that growth and mentality. Also my skills is like, you know, in coding, my skills in like the technical questions, all of that was growing, but like, you know, you always feel like, oh, but that's not perfect. That's not good enough. Like you look at your other classmates and you go like, so-and-so in the front of the class, the answer is like all the questions, he's going to make it. But me, I'm a little guy in the back that doesn't understand. So there's no way I'm going to make it. But that's not true. That's definitely not true, because, you know, like sometimes it's not like you have to be, you might have other skills that the other guy is lacking that will make him a good teammate, and that you might be a good teammate to work with. So after that, like Google gives me an interview, and I was like, so what I did was, like, when Google asked me to do the interview, right? They said, so they give you like a schedule, like where you could schedule somewhere in the calendar for your interview. I gave myself as much time as possible to prepare, and like to borderline, like I was like, give me like a month and a half. And then they were like, sure, we'll give you a month and a half to study. Dude, for a month and a half, it was like 10, 12-hour days. Ashley was like cooking, cleaning. She was like doing the laundry. She was doing everything. And me just sitting down at the table, just coding, just learning all the data structures, Geeks for Geeks, Lead Code, Nick White on YouTube, everyone, bro. Like, it was that for the grind, man, the grind. And like, I take the interviews, and I passed the first one, right? Because it was like five interviews. I passed the first one, and I was like doubtful that I was even going to make it past the first one. When I get the email that I passed the first interview, I was like, wow, maybe I have a shot. Maybe I really do have a shot at Google. And then like eventually, you know, 4 more interviews later, I make it to Google. So like, it was
like the story is like so inspirational. Like we as a student in our 20s, when we reach the pre-final year or the final year, so we start thinking that life is over, we don't know data structures, we can't get into jobs. So most of us start thinking like we can't do anything. So it's like we can start at any moment. So what your story inspires us is that we can start at any moment, and one moment is enough to change the life.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. Like, I know it sounds corny, it sounds cliche. Oh, like you could change your life any moment. You could change your life any moment. Like, it really is true. Like, you really can. You know, one.
Both are
Continue.
a living example for the same. So
Yeah,
that's what I just wanted to add.
exactly. Like, even my family, like I just got this apartment. You know, you see it in the background, looks nice. I just moved here, so like this is not where I lived. I lived in the basement, and it was not pretty. So like my living room and my kitchen and all that was like one step away from everything. Like, you know, like. And my parents came over yesterday, actually, and they were like, wow, like you made it, like in life. Like they were so proud, and it's like a great feeling. But the point is, like, that's not where my life was going at all. And you could just change your life right now. So you might like, I'm thinking that all of you guys are new, you know, you're like, you're going into the industry, and you might think like you are missing a lot of different technical skills, or you don't know how you're going to be in the workplace, or finding a job is really difficult. But the thing is that like, you just have to have that mindset that you want to do it, that you're willing. Like, this is the thing. There's many people that like are in the front, like they look like they're all put together. They know all these things. They're so smart, but you don't know if they're so smart and they're so like capable in classroom, right? In the classroom setting. But when it comes to the real world of like applying for a job, setting up your resume, talking to recruiters, they don't know anything. And so like they're applying for like that one job at Google, and you could be applying to hundreds of jobs. You could be applying to 200 jobs. It's a numbers game. We know that in algorithms, right? It's about iterations. Like, this is a numbers game. If you give yourself 1,000 opportunities and one of them hits and you get one job, that's all you need. You needed one job. Rather, there's some people out there that just like trying to make it to like that top company, and only give themselves like opportunity. They send out 3 resumes and they go like, I hope one of them makes it. That's not like, for us, thinking about the logic of it, think about it. Each of those jobs, Google, Facebook, all that, get thousands of resumes. Chances of getting picked, very low. You might as well apply to all these jobs and set yourself up. And like, that's something I wanted to talk about in this meeting. Like there is no, like, I'm not talking about Google in this and all of this. This is my opinion, okay? So like, Google don't fire me for this, right? But like, this is the thing, like for them to see any of us, like if you don't get picked, that doesn't mean you weren't good enough for Google. I don't think that at all, because I don't think they have enough like time in the world to really like evaluate all the candidates. So the thing what I'm trying to say is that maybe you don't make it this round to the job you wanted. Up to like one company, you learn some certain skills, to another company, you're gonna get calls from recruiters if you set yourself up a certain way. If like maybe not now, but eventually you'll go wherever you want to go. If you want to go to Google, Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, all of that, I recommend go to Google. It's like so far it's been really chill, but like
Okay. So sorry to interrupt, but for the participants, as I can see, we have about 300 participants. So if you guys have any questions, you can just type in the comment box. If you don't feel comfortable sharing a question with everyone, you can just send it to me. I'll ask it to the speakers. Okay, so feel free to ask any questions that you have in your mind. It's an interactive session. We need participation from all of you. Okay. Yeah. So you can continue.
Okay. So like I was trying to say that like just apply, make sure, like we're going to talk about these things in this session, right? Like how to make a better resume, and our YouTube channel is about that stuff, because I don't know, like I didn't have, since I was the first person, and Ashley is the first person in her family to choose computer science, to choose software engineering, they just didn't have anyone to ask. You guys have a nice club. Look, you have like 300 people here. That's like a crazy community. That's awesome that you guys are all going through the same thing. We didn't have that. So it was just like me and Ashley against the world, and then a couple friends. And so I decided to make a YouTube channel, me and Ashley, like to help other people with all these little topics and curiosities too, that you have, like how is it like to go to like,
we're getting questions
like
in the comment box if it's visible, so you guys can just
let's see. Okay.
Pick some of them.
Yeah. Okay.
So it
Please
seems
share.
like Ashish has something to ask from us. Ashish, you may unmute yourself.
What's more interesting, YouTube or development? Okay.
So someone is asking, how does it feel to work at Google?
Okay. How does it feel to work at Google? First of all, like at first, like you like right now I started working from home. So Google right now is basically my desk right in my living room. Like that's Google for me. And the people that I get to talk to on my
all thanks to Corona.
Yeah, exactly. All thanks to Corona. Exactly. So I've never even been to the office. But like I can tell you something, like out of all the organizations that I've like ADP included, sorry ADP, but like according to ADP, that's my only professional like comparison I can make. Google is like way more organized, way more professional. Like that's like you get to see like the new features, you get to see the new products like before anyone else does. And you get emails about them all the time, which is really awesome. And you could like give your input. You could try them out and send an email to the tech lead and all that and say, hey, I didn't really like this button, or I like this, or I didn't like that. And they'll consider it. And I'm like, they'll consider it from someone new. Like it's a pretty amazing community of like, that they really enjoy tech. And like, you're in the front, you're like in the cutting edge of tech, which is like really exciting.
So one more question, that what's more interesting, YouTube or development? Like coding.
What's more? I love making YouTube videos.
Yeah, we enjoy doing YouTube
but
videos.
I hate editing. Like that's so painful. I rather code. Like coding is more stimulating. It's so much better. Like so I love the content. I love talking to you guys and all that, but I don't like the editing. So I like the human aspect of the YouTube videos, but the coding aspect of it, it's like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not going to say that I love coding, that I would like to do that 24/7, but I could tell you something, that there's definitely a satisfaction to me when I code. I could even do it like for fun. Like I'm just coding, and when you hit that run button and it doesn't crash and it actually works, that's an excitement, bro. Like you build. It's like when you guys, I saw when you like the NASA going to like space, that shuttle like taking off. That's how that feels, man. Like we accomplished something. Give each other high fives and laugh and like enjoy life. You know, like that's how that's something that coding does for me. Like you're building something that someone's gonna use and it runs and it works. It's like an amazing feeling.
We have one question that even I want to ask. So how much time did it take to prepare for the interviews that you have given till now, like for the Google part? And so how long did it take for the entire process?
Everyone asks that question. So for me, yeah, but it's just good. Like, okay, so it took me, I would say 2 months, about 8 hours a day for 2 months straight.
Yeah.
So 8 hours a day for 2 months straight. So like, that's about, I don't know how many hours that is. You guys could do the math. You guys are good with math. So that's how many hours it took me. And that was only possible because I had Ashley like doing all the chores, and all I had to do was just sit and eat and code.
So like, I mean, I could probably relate to many of your journeys right now because I'm a senior in college in Rutgers University, and I'm going through the process. I got an offer for ADP for a full-time job after my internship, but I'm still ambitious and I'm still going for a better company, you know, and I think Mayur, someone over here had the San Francisco Bridge in the background, and that's what awaits us. Aaron actually got the job in Google, California. So we'll be moving there. So the Bay Area, Silicon Valley. So I'm also applying over there currently, and I'm going through maybe the same process as many of you, studying my data structures, my algorithms, studying a couple hours a day, you know, just to prepare for those interviews. And my first interview will be the 28th of December for a full-time job, you know?
Wow, like we are super excited, and we really want if you could make a video after your first interview experience. So we all will be waiting to watch that.
For sure. I definitely will.
So someone is asking, what should be our mindset now as a beginner to start with the journey that you guys have already been through?
So I would say the mindset is don't be too hard on yourself. Like, don't expect to like put a couple of hours and then see tremendous growth in your skill, especially technical interviews. Expect to get like frustrated the whole time. Like, be frustrated, enjoy the frustration, enjoy the grind of that, because expect that it's not going to be easy, but you'll grow. Like, you'll see the growth in like a couple, like by the first month, you'll see you're way better than you were at the beginning. So that's the hope.
Yeah, for sure. And also be aware of the imposter syndrome and crush it. You know, like don't let it take over your confidence. You know, be confident and just trust that what you're doing, you know, study data structures, algorithms. As long as you're studying them and you're challenging yourself and you're seeing progress, like rely on that. Don't rely on like that feeling that might be talking to you and telling you you're not good enough, you're not going to make it. Just be confident.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay, so someone, I guess many of them have this question, like what language should they prefer for preparing interviews in such MNCs? Like someone goes for C++, then someone goes for Java. What would you suggest for the beginners to start with?
So I did it in Java. I'm a Java guy. I like, even though it's like verbose, I think it just like, it's easy to understand the data structures like that you're writing in Java. But if I had to do it all over again, I would do Python.
Yeah.
Python is the way to go, because like it saves you so much time in typing. Like this huge Java thing is like one line in like Python, right? So like I would say Python because it shortens the amount of text that you have to write, and then you can take more time speaking. So in like, you would think in technical interviews, the code is God, right? It's everything. But like, it is important. Like you want the optimal runtime and all that, but you want to have like the ability to explain, like the way that you're explaining what you're doing. And like, even though you're stuck, and like, let's say you're in an interview and you get stuck, that's the scariest thing in the world, right? But like, if you're able to get stuck and then talk your thought process the whole way, and you tell the interviewer, hey, I'm stuck right now, but I'm thinking that it could be this, or this or this or this while you're stuck, the interviewer is going to be like, wow, this guy. Because even if he's under pressure, he's not going to be annoying. Like he's going to think it through, right? So then that's like really awesome. So like you have to like work on that part.
Okay, so people are asking how important is competitive programming to crack top companies? Like
That's a I don't know anything about competitive programming, so I just see it like on YouTube. It's like now it's a trend. That's like a new buzzword, competitive programming. But from what I've heard from
we
other,
can reframe the question as what is more important, like making your basic concept strong or just focusing or following the trend that is going on, like following the blindly following competitive programming, getting stars. So what should we prioritize?
look, in all they're going to care about is if you pass the interview. And to pass the interview, you need data structures, you need algorithms. You don't have to go fancy. You just have to pass those interviews. Those two things are gonna like make you stand out. And I don't think recruiters are actively looking for competitive programmers. That's not what they're really looking for, in my opinion.
So what they are looking for exactly means what is necessary. We have many queries regarding if not competitive coding, then what is most important for getting.
They want to see that you have worked in an organization like an internship, right? With a good company. The higher the company, right? In the tiers of companies for tech, you guys could make the tiers however you want, but like the higher you go up, that makes you look better on paper. I think that's the most important thing, experience in the real world, or that you've been in an organization that's building some like really nice project. And think about it, it's like marketing, right? Because that's the sad part of this. Like it's about, if you have that prestigious name of an internship, then some recruiter is going to be like, oh, I know that company. I'm going to give that person the benefit of the doubt that they know, which is not really true sometimes, right? So that I would say that's the most important thing, real world experience. If you can show that in any way that you can, is more important to have that real world experience, even if it's for a short time.
Other than internships, can you tell us, because the culture in India is way too different than USA. In USA, you get internships after your high school, I guess, at the age of 19 or 20. But here in India, we live with our parents till we complete our graduation. So the role of internship is not much. We have internships here, but they are very less as compared to the US. So what other things can you tell us that they can give us exposure to the industry?
Yeah, like can we keep it this way? Like if we focus on having some good projects that we work on, so will it be something comparable to the experience that we may get in internships, like a personal project that we build on? So
I think that is comparable in the way that like it challenges you technically, and you could talk about that. But I think it's like very important to build something that like people are using, like in any way that you can, whatever that means to you, like build it for a business, build it for a nonprofit. Maybe you guys in DCoders Club are building an app for your members, something that people are using. I think that's more important. Like that's the best type of projects you could do, because you show that you can work in a team. You show you build something that's in production. You know, like that's way more than like a personal app, you know, or personal whatever you build for yourself. Like I think the impact is more important to show that.
And someone is asking, what's the process for applying and what are the prerequisites and the tests? So I think it should be more like, what do they look for an intern? Suppose a college student who is applying for an internship. So what are the necessary skills that he or she must possess in order to bang that internship? So
I think to get an internship, you said, or to get the job?
Internship, I think.
Internship as a college student. Like for a job, the guy is much more matured. He has a degree in his hand, but for a student who is still in college, the requisites must be something different. So what exactly is the difference between interviewing an intern and interviewing someone for a full-time employment?
Okay, so I think so I don't know how it is in India compared to the US, but I felt like for internships, there was a lot more opportunity to get an internship. I had many interviews for internships, and the thing that held me back was just not passing the interview because I was not studying correctly. Like I thought that just by having the academic enough, like, you know, good like understanding of my academics, that was enough to pass the interview, which is not true. It's a different type of thing to pass a technical interview than to get an A in your test. That's a different thing. So I think that was the number one thing that stopped me. So like I think so I don't really know what to tell you to like stand out from many people. I would say to make you stand out from many people, it would be like
solid resume.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, have a resume that shows your projects, shows like I don't know, like I don't know how it is in India, but I feel like everyone around here, like that is not like top tech company, like they're all working with like I'm a back end engineer, so like everyone wants to do like simple stuff. Like you think you're gonna do like amazing things. It's like they want to use an API, a GET request, post request, like simple stuff like that. And you're gonna find it so crazy, like how many people don't put that on their resume that know how to do it. And then like a recruiter is gonna be like, all I wanted to know is if you can work with APIs. Like as the recruiter, think about it. Most of the time, I think recruiters don't have like a strong technical background, so they don't even know what the heck you're writing. As long as you hit the keywords, they're like, oh, I'm gonna send this over to a real engineer who knows what the heck this is, you know? And I think that you just make sure that you have the keywords that the job description is saying. And then after that, like make sure that you can pass the technical interview if you get one. Like that was my mistake. I was getting a lot of technical interviews that I was just failing all the time.
Okay, so one common doubt that many of the students have is like, should they prefer going with one specific language and mastering that, or they should be knowing different kind of coding languages? So what would you suggest for the students in this part?
Oh, that's easy. Stick with one language. Like, yeah, have it in your resume, even if you typed it like one time, like, you know, Haskell, you did Haskell one time, like put it in there. But I mean, like have one language that you're definitely you could always pass the interviews with. So just stick with one language, because like top tech companies, they'll interview you in any language that you want. Even if it's some obscure language, they'll have some engineer that's a beast at it, that he'll interview you, and don't worry about that. Like just stick with one language.
Yeah. So put all the languages you know in your resume, but make it bold the one that you're the best at.
Yeah.
And
like, yeah, like when we say bold, like put the font bold on your resume for that language.
And one more question that I personally would like to ask, that students nowadays, they're crazy behind ML, AI, these things which are, you know, trending now. And by going for these things, they just prefer, they just ignore the basic DSL goals. And, you know, people don't prefer that anyway. Everyone wants to be an ML enthusiast and AI enthusiast.
Yeah.
So
it's cool.
Since you guys are experienced, so what would you suggest? Like the freshers, as a fresher, what should we focus on? Like, should we go behind these fields? Is there any scope in that, or we should be focusing on TSA first?
So I think this, what I've seen at Google, I'm just going to talk about that. Like that's the company that I know now. So out of my cohort, I think what we got hired was 150 people, and all of them want like ML and AI, all of them. Like, so like they all want to do that, but that doesn't matter when you go into the interview. In the interview, the basics matter: algorithms, data structures, and if you can talk, you know, can you speak through your thought process. If you can do that, you'll pass. You'll pass pretty easy. Like, I'm not saying it's an easy interview, but I'm saying like the steps are simple, right? Like learn those two things, speak it. They don't care about how much you know about AI, ML. They're not gonna ask you. They're not gonna go into it at all. Okay, unless it's like an ML AI like job. But then when you get into Google, when you get into Facebook, when you get into Amazon, when you get into these jobs, then you can request, hey, I want to go to the AI team, ML team, Google Brain, whatever.
Challenge yourself,
and
yeah.
then they'll ask you about ML AI later. So are you going to need ML AI? Yes. To get to where you ultimately want to get to, yes. But to pass the interview, no.
Yeah, that was much needed for, I guess, everyone present here, because we just ignore these basic things and we go blindly behind all these.
Yeah.
So many people are asking, like, what do you exactly do after getting into, what do you exactly do after getting into Google? Do you build apps? Do you build websites? So can you just share a glimpse of your experience after joining the thing? Like,
so
before recruitment, we all know, like, we have to pass the interview. So what after getting into that place?
So after you get into Google, you go out and have a dinner with your loved ones, and you enjoy.
Celebrate that
you made it. And after that, since I was in a program called Engineering Residence, I'm still in that program for this whole year. It was 7 weeks of training where we did. We worked on like a full stack project. We worked on 2 full stack projects. One was like basically like they held my hand the whole time and had tutorials like do step 1, then step 2, then step 3, right? Like the whole way for like 2 weeks. So it was very boring. And then like the second project, they gave you like a team of like 2 people, teams of 3. And then we built a front end project. So what I built and my team, we grabbed they gave us an archive of all the Stack Overflow questions from like 2005 to like 2016 or something like that. I don't know like exact dates, but basically a huge archive of questions. And they told us to build a full stack app. So we built a game, a web game that you can like, we ask you a Stack Overflow question and you have to pick the accepted answer. And then then we built the game, we presented it. And I think the highest score that anyone got was like a 3. I think out of all the people that played the game, the highest score was like 3 questions in a row they can get right. Because it was super hard. It was like so hard. So that's kind of like the first few weeks is just like training, and then you do those 2 main projects, and you talk a lot about like you learn about the technologies of Google, their IDE, all the internal tools that Google uses, and it's very like different than school, like because there's so many like internal tools. Everything in Google is built by Google. Like they don't have like third-party stuff. Like everything is like Google made. So you have to relearn all this stuff, except for like the languages, right? But that's what I did for the last 7 weeks. I actually start my first like rotation job tomorrow, actually Monday. I start with my team, and I'm building like software for that's gonna like control like the factories in Asia, like in Southeast Asia, for like the Google Pixel, Google Home, all the hardware that Google builds. I'm building the software for that for the next 4 months. And then they give me option to pick another team later on. And then when I get fully like become a full Googler, they give me an option to pick another team. So stay there permanently.
There's a question from my side. What is the importance of open source contribution? I mean, there are things like GSOC, Google Summer of Code. What is the importance of this as an engineer? Should we?
You know what? I wish I had more information on that, and I'm pretty sure I could find out some of my peers that might have done it, and I'll come back with an answer later. But
yeah, if not, you can just upload it on YouTube, and we would love to watch it on your channel then.
Yeah.
And one more thing, like I wanted to ask, not everyone dreams of getting into companies like FANG. Everyone dreams of it, like Google, Amazon, Microsoft. So, but not all of us can make it to there. So, what would you suggest? Like, how should be our approach for handling the rejections that we get throughout the process?
I think you should, number one, know that's just because you got rejected, that doesn't mean you weren't good enough. First of all, that's the truth. Because there's so many factors that you might not even been given a fair shot, or you wouldn't given an opportunity to even interview. So that you shouldn't say that that's your value because that you got in or not got in. It's because of like how good you are. First of all, that's not true. And second of all, like who said you can't make it there in 6 months? You know, you could try again in 6 months. You could try again every 6 months for the rest of your career, and you might be able to make it to some company of your top 5, you know, or whatever, top 10 that you want. So I would say never quit if that's your dream. And number 2, don't take it too hard on yourself. Just say, this is not I'll try again in 6 months, you know, and do it again.
Just continue hustling.
Continue. Don't never give up. That's what I would say.
So since we have a lot of participants who are currently in the 3rd year or 4th year, so they're asking that how much time did Aaron get for preparing for his interview?
Yeah, he already answered that.
8 hours a day for 2 months.
8 hours a day for 2 months, remember everyone.
That's
So,
including
Arun,
weekends.
So Arun, what do you think, like, when we compare ML jobs with other technical jobs, which are in more demands nowadays in FANG and other MNCs like Google?
I think like I don't think ML jobs are more in demand. Like maybe they're more in demand than before, but are they more in demand? Is that what companies want right now? I don't think so. So like right now, I could tell. I don't know all the teams at Google. Let's be like truthful here. They have hundreds, right? Like I don't know them all, but I mean the options that they gave us. So they gave us how it worked in my program. They gave us options to pick all these different domains, and I might share it in a YouTube video. That way I can give you specifics. Like they gave us like all these domains, and they said, Aaron, pick all the domains you feel competent enough to work at. So ML was definitely one of them, definitely one of the most popular ones. But they specifically told us, hey, we want you to like go into other fields, not just ML, because like we're doing a lot of research in ML, but we need code written, you know, like sometimes in ML you're researching, but you know, like they want to write, they have other business needs. I think they have so many more business needs that they don't just include ML. So you don't have to do ML or AI if that's not what you like. So know that there's a lot more work out there than just that.
Can a civil engineer somehow join
Yeah,
Google?
thanks.
Go ahead. Say it again.
People
Can
are
a
asking
civil
a lot
engineer
about,
somehow
yeah,
can
who's asking?
get
I
into
think.
Google?
Can
A
a civil engineer
undergrad.
Yeah, I think a guy without a degree can make it to Google.
Yeah.
Or a woman
Sure.
without a degree can make it to Google. Like, if you stand out, like it's gonna be hard. And I'm not saying it's not hard, but you can make it to Google without a degree. And like my manager has said, there's many people at Google that have no degrees. And you know what? And you know, like take this into like consideration. Like you might be like, I don't know what school you guys are going to. Like I'm not familiar with Indian schools, but like I'm going from Rutgers, which is not a prestigious tech school. Like let's be honest. And I have a teammate that went to an even less prestigious school in the US, in New York. And I'm not bashing on his school because I don't even care, because he's an amazing engineer. But what I'm trying to say is that like once you're in the industry, no one cares about what school you went to. They don't care.
Guys, please don't leave your college after this advice.
Yeah.
Continue with your studies.
Yeah. Don't quit school. Like I'm saying, like honestly, I think we have a leg up as people that have like that have degrees. I think we have a leg up because we understand stuff in a more deeper level than someone just learning, you know, like the superficial stuff and then learning the rest later. But is it necessary? No. Would I go to college again? Yes, I would. So like, and it's not just because DVI just said, don't quit your studies, but I mean like, I really would go back to school. I think it was like a great time. And like, I learned a lot. So I would still go to school. And I think we have a leg up with people that don't go to school for computer science. But to answer your question, civil engineer, yeah, of course. You already have the mind to think logically, to think a certain way. You could pick this up too. I don't think you can.
There's also short-term boot camps that you could attend.
Oh yeah, you could do that too.
I have a question. I think everyone might have the same question. That you said that CV is very important to get into jobs. So, what are your tips to making an outstanding CV? I mean, what are the tips which you?
Yeah. Okay, so it's kind of hard to say the tips because resume is very visual. But like, I have a
A
video on
general
that. You could just
overview of
watch it.
what you
Yes, yes.
preferred.
Yeah, so like, but other than that, like, I mean, so definitely, so like, this is like the real truth about CVs, resumes. Like, um, a recruiter looks at that stuff for like 5-6 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get more than that. So when you have like a 3-page resume, unless you got their attention on the first 5 seconds, there's no hope there on the third page.
Yeah.
There's no hope. You're lost. So like, I would say keep them short and 1 page, especially early on in career, unless like you publish some crazy papers, did some amazing projects, then I think you're allowed to have like 2-3 pages. But I mean, we just started out, have 1 page, be humble. Like, I mean, like, for a good CV, have your main projects. And also, like, I think that like what really set my resume, I think, above other resumes, I think, was that like I went to a Google, actually, like, this is it's crazy how, like, God works or life works. I went to a Google info session, much like this, like a webinar, and they were explaining like, for Google, you gotta have like metrics. They don't just want you to say, oh, I had an internship at so-and-so company, but you have like no metrics or no proof that you did any impact there. They want to know numbers. They want to know how much money you made for them. They want to know how many users you impacted, what percentage efficiency went up, or something that proves it. And I was like, okay, I did an internship at ADP, and I did this like app for like their like IT department, right? So I was like, how the heck am I gonna add any metrics for this? So I was like, I think my app, my little feature that I built over the summer saves ADP like 2 to 5 minutes of time in front of a customer, which is one of their employees. And I was like, if each customer makes 60,000 to 100,000 a year, I'm saving the company at least like $40,000 to like $80,000 a year, like, because of this little feature that I made. So in my resume, I wrote proof, like, I did this at ADP, and like the metrics were, I saved the company 40 to 80,000 per year with this app. And that's my metrics. And I think that made me stand out, because many people say what they did, how they did it, but they don't say what was the impact. You have to prove
the business impact.
What was the business impact of your work? Because think about it, at the end of the day, this is all business, right? Like, we're not doing like Google.
I
Yeah,
just
it's a great company,
encountered a very
but it's
good
business,
question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just encountered a very good question. Like, what advantages do the postgraduates get over graduates in MNCs? And besides in getting more salary. So if we just have a bachelor's degree, and what will be the difference between us and someone who is having a post-graduation degree as well, like the higher studies after pursuing the bachelor's one?
What
I
I've
think
seen,
the process is same.
okay, what I've seen is that there's not much difference, other than the money, right? You make more money, but other than that, which is a good reason, right? But I mean, like, there's not a huge difference. I think they get the same opportunity.
And my question to Ashley ma'am, like, being a girl, you have several other responsibilities, like it's different from guys. So how do you manage and what's your experience working as an intern as well as being a college student and being a girl as well? So you have some more responsibilities. So just can you share your experience?
Yeah, for sure. So like, I think that one of the keys is being like organized, trying to balance a relationship and also, being a CS student. There's definitely not a lot of girls in CS. So, and also build your network in school, have a good amount of friends that are there rooting for you. They're in the same pace. Like when you have a team or like a group that you're both going at it, you feel more motivated. Yeah. So outside from my other responsibilities, be super organized and also try to have like a balance, or else you're gonna go crazy. So do school, have that good group of friends that are motivated, that are like motivating you and they're at the same pace with you, and also be, like organized and like my internship was virtual. So like, because, you know, of COVID-19, I had like a group of all in my team in ADP, they were all men. It was different, you know, like you're used to like talking to girls and being there, and then you're in a classroom that's full of men and you're like, there's only like 10 girls, you know, but they're as willing to help you, and you just have to go in there, believe in yourself, and just be part of the team, be part of the group.
I didn't know this problem is global. Like I thought it's
global.
there in India.
No, it's global. So like all our classes, like there was a point where we were taking classes together, and we had a group of like 5 guy friends, and I was the only girl. And like everywhere they went, I went with them. So people are like, why is she just hanging out with like guys? And I'm like, they're in my class. Like they're the only friends I have, you know? Like there was like 2 other girls in some of my classes. So like it's weird, it's different, but this is our career, you know? And like girls could make it too, you know?
I have some input. I'm not a girl, but I mean, I've seen like this happen. So like a lot of like, so like this is the thing. Like as a guy, I only see the world as a guy's perspective. But I mean, when I say something like to a colleague or a teammate, and I say, hey, I don't really like that implementation, I would prefer this or that, they take it right away. Like they take it into consideration. But when Ashley says it, because she's a girl or whatever, it's like she's like, oh, I want to implement this or that. She has to defend herself. Like she has to give more reasons. She has to like, a lot of guys are like hesitant to like take advice from a girl really fast. Yeah. And
that's also happened.
So like so I tell her like, you know what, since I'm like, you know, with her, I feel like if someone disrespects her, like I want to come in and be like, hey bro, like, you know, chill, you know? But like, I told her like, you know what, I'm not going to do that, you know? And I told her like, I told her like a man's nature is like, I think most of them are gonna be like I don't know why, but insecurity, I have no idea. They don't want to take advice from a girl or whatever it is. But like you have to just be able to know that that's gonna be part of your life. And
I
you have
would
to
just like to add one thing here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd just like to add, like in DCoders also, I am working with 9 other coordinators with me. And these guys are so progressive, like so cooperative. I never felt like I am the only girl here. All my suggestions are taken into consideration, and they're like really well. So this problem we don't have here. I really wish it continues for the next academic upcoming years.
I wish it could continue globally.
Guys,
like
please continue with it.
Yeah,
it should continue globally. Like what experience you just shared, like it feels very relatable. Being a girl, feeling weird and such stuffs, like, but here I don't feel such things because of the team that I have. It's really wonderful working with them.
It's great. And like to like break barriers, all my managers have been women. Even at Google, it's a woman manager. So they have the same, it's been like at that point, no one even cares if you're a girl, boy, whatever. You have the camera off anyway, so it's like no one can see you.
Yes, so these were all the technical parts. How can you say that the non-technical things such as your communication skills and other things can play a good role in your interviews?
I think it that plays a massive role. I would say like coding is important, and if you can't code, then if you can't do an optimal, not you don't have to always have the optimal, but that's important. But like speaking, being able to communicate, you don't have to be the world's greatest speaker, but you have to be able to speak like what's on your mind. Like, so like I would say use resources like pramp.com. I use that a lot because that helped me like get stuck. You know, like when I got stuck, I learned how to speak through that stressful moment, you know, and talk through it, and then be able to like clearly say what I wanted to say.
Can you name the website again?
I'll put it in the messages. It's pramp.com. It's free. I don't work for them or anything, but
hashtag not sponsored.
Yeah. So I can't do it, but it's pramp.com.
So how do you manage your time, guys? Means many of
एक्चुअली कुछ काम था, तो यहाँ उसके यहाँ देर हो गई, 9 साढ़े 9 बज गया, तो यहाँ से इनका ऑफिस हुआ।
Hey guys, can you?
तो
Stay. There was just a latency. Yeah.
Moderator, please.
Just ignore, guys.
So guys
typical-
working in Google, so how do you manage your time? Means you're a software development engineer in the Google, and also you are editing videos for YouTube. So how do you manage all your time and also for your personal life?
Yeah. So
Yeah, adding to this one more question, like, is there
Mhm.
something specific, hobby or something that you have to give up doing this? So it's, the
Yeah.
questions are related. I just asked them.
Okay, yeah. So we still are trying to find a balance between YouTube and work. So like since I started like, you know, working harder at Google, I basically stopped making YouTube videos.
And we also got sick.
And yeah, true. Like for 2 weeks we got COVID actually. And like, we don't have COVID anymore, fortunately. But
Thank God.
talk about like time management. Like I had to do work. I was fighting for my life, and then like I had to do videos. It's not gonna happen. So like I stopped making videos, and I took a few days off from work. Even though like I was sick for 2 weeks, I only took 3 days off. Because like, you know, I wanted to like not fall back, but that's what, like, it was very difficult. So right now, like, I basically let go of like editing for right now until I feel like I build a rhythm with my job. But it's different when you have like I live with Ashley, so like, and we're married, so like being a husband is a priority, you know, like you can't just say, well, I'm not be a husband for a month and I'll just make YouTube videos. So like I'm still finding that balance. So like for now, like YouTube has taken the back seat because like my priority right now is staying at Google, not get fired. And but like once I feel like I have enough like experience at Google, maybe like in a couple of weeks, then I'll continue making YouTube videos weekly.
And there's definitely
Arun,
things that,
yeah. So what do you think from being from a technical side, should we change to a non-technical side, like being a product manager or a project manager or something like that? Because many of my friends who are in USA right now, they are doing jobs like project manager or product manager, and they are earning good. So what's your suggestion for that?
I would say it depends on the person. Like some people like really enjoy coding, really enjoy the technical. They love to be in between the trenches, and other people just like to work with people and they like tech. So I mean, like they like to manage people. They're more of that style. So I would say if that's you, if you like to be more in between like a bridge between what business needs are and the bridge between like what the technical needs are, then product management is a good deal. But if that's not you, then I would say stick to
As you
coding,
are
bro.
already
That's
in the
good.
field,
One
you know
question that
very
I
much.
have is,
Oh, give me a second. I think
yeah,
I
Fark,
can't
you
say your
can
name.
continue.
Sorry.
Heather. You can call me
Yeah.
Heather. Yeah.
Heather. Okay.
Yeah. So as you are already in this field, so I just want to ask that which job is so hectic? Like it is a coding part or it is a non-technical job?
I think they're both very demanding. But I think it more depends on your company.
Yeah.
Like your company and your team. Like I don't want to like I've heard like the Amazon is very crazy, like and very demanding. So maybe if you work at Amazon, like, hey, expect to work a lot. And but I could tell you for what I've seen of Google right now, the work-life balance is amazing. Like they really want you to like take care of yourself. My manager said the other day, since I work Eastern time, right? And they're working Pacific time. I think that's what you call it for in California. And they're basically ahead of me. So I start working at 1 p.m. and I end at 8 p.m. Because I'm supposed to be at Cali, but I'd never moved to Cali yet because of COVID. So my team is working at that time. So I stay on at that time. My manager said, hey, look, I'm not going to have any meetings for you at 6 to 8 p.m. your time, so you could have dinner with your wife every day. And I'm like, what company is going to tell you that? Like, you know, like, hey, go have dinner, you know, enjoy your life, and then come back to work whenever you can, or, you know, later. Who's going to tell you that? So it depends on the company.
One last question that I have is, like, what should be our mindset behind a preparation for FANG or Google or any such company? Like, it's the monetary benefits that we get from there, or it should be driven by our passion. Like, if we really feel that we can code, we can reach that level, that should be our passion, or I mean, that should be our mindset, or we should think like, we'll be getting paid, so we have to work hard for that. So what do you think is beneficial as a student for us?
Bro, that's a hard question. Like, I find that it's a very difficult question because it's like, I think it's very personal.
It's subjective.
Like, I'm not, who am I to tell any of you like what's good or bad, you know, like
if someone is not skilled enough, but he just thinks of the benefits that he'll be getting. So so what do you think is the chances of such person getting there where we want to, like, getting into FANG or something?
So like I think if the person is not willing to put the work, is not willing to it's not willing to do all the different things that makes you a good, like, software engineer, like working on your communication, working through ambiguity, learning to get unstuck, like learning good technical skills, getting experience. If you're not willing to do that, then I don't think many people that just do it for the money can do all of that. Like I don't think they could do it all the way through, and especially for many years. If they just do it for the money, I think you'll be miserable. So I wouldn't recommend doing that, because there's other ways to make money that don't involve like doing something that you don't like for all that time. That's what I would think about that.
Yeah. So guys, if you guys have any question, you can just continue asking. Yeah.
I think Yash had some question. Yash, you can unmute yourself.
Let Ash ma'am continue, then we can continue with further questions.
So like, yeah, sure. So thank you. So what I think is, like, first of all, if you're chasing the money and you're not willing to put in the work, it's gonna be hard to get there. But if you want to chase the money and you want to put the work and you don't mind what it takes to get there, then you'll get the skills and hopefully you'll get the love through it, you know, and maybe not the love, but see it as a job, you know, you're 9 to 5, and then after 5, you work anything that you're passionate in, you know. I know that, like, many young people in America, I don't see this a lot in Indian culture. Many people in America, they chase after their passion.
Yeah.
They want to join arts, music, and then at the end of the day, there's no career. There's very slim chances of making it successful in art and in music. And CS is an amazing career with amazing chances of good salary. So if you see the potential and you think that you have the skill and you're willing to work up to that, then do it and see it as a job. I gotta get this, I gotta do this, focus. You don't have to love it, you know, but if you feel that you're good and you could do it, go for it, because there's many benefits, you know, but if you're miserable, don't do it. Look for a career that's gonna be good paying and go for that, and find something that you're at least gonna be happy with.
Yeah, if you're miserable now, don't do it.
Yeah, but if you're miserable because you haven't put enough work,
yeah, that's true. Be honest. Yeah.
Then it's you know, you're not really miserable. You just haven't put in the work, the necessary work to go like, aha, I like this. So that was just input.
That's true.
I guess we have asked all the questions for now. If someone is having any specific question, you can just unmute yourself, or you can just type in the comment box.
Aaron, like you said that you were trying different jobs, and like you learned to code and you made it into Google, and now you are working there. Do you really like your job coding all day, or like, and do you really enjoy your life in other ways? Like for myself, I really love I really love to learn to program and do coding, but I do like traveling also. So I don't know if I would be happy becoming a software engineer sitting all day in front of a computer and coding.
I see. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. So right now, I can't. Right now, I really enjoy my life. Like I love the flexibility of this job. Maybe because it's work from home. Well, I've never worked. I've only worked an internship at the office, and now I'm working just from home. So you see that door back there? That's my room. I sleep there, and then like I work right here. So it's like 4 steps. So I find that that's like very comfortable life. I really enjoy that. And I get to spend all my day with Ashley, even though if it's just like, she's like, living over there. Like, I really like that part of my life. And I find what I do coding brings me a lot of satisfaction. Like, and it's not like you code all day. Like, I think that's a misconception that like when you're working, yeah, there's days that where you code all day. Don't get me wrong. But like, a lot of it's like also planning with your team, talking with your team. It's stimulating things, like not just coding. I think coding is like one of the, like when the idea is already developed, now you're trying to build it. That's not, you don't start coding and then on the fly figure it out, right? You had already figured it out, now you're coding. So I think, and about the travel thing, I wanted to point that out. Like, so like I like to travel as well. I find that like our job would be kind of the best job for that lifestyle, because if you can get a remote job in software, I'm not just talking about like top tech companies, but a remote job doing software engineering, what's stopping you from getting an Airbnb anywhere and just like using that Wi-Fi and traveling the whole way wherever you want to go? Like nothing is stopping you, like. Meanwhile, like if you work something like my brother, he does civil engineering and he's building a bridge here in New York City. If he wants to travel the world, he can't be building bridges while he's traveling the world. Like he has to be at the bridge, meanwhile us, we could be anywhere with internet and we could be traveling. So I think definitely do this. If you like coding and traveling, I would say get a remote job and like you're in paradise.
So we have one question from, I think, one of our seniors, currently working in data consultancy, and he's asking, what would you suggest to people who are already there in MNC like TCS and aspire to be in Google someday? Like, what do they need to show to the interviewers? Consider any MNC in India of an IT domain. So if for the people who are already working, what do they need to show to the interviewers? And guys, we are sharing the feedback form meanwhile. Just a minute, Aaron. So we are sharing the feedback form on the chat box, and we're disabling the chat as we are running out of time now. So I guess we have asked most of the questions. You can continue asking the questions in their YouTube channel. Please do subscribe. The link will be shared along with the feedback form. Okay.
There's one last question by Shreyoshi Roy. Can you unmute yourself? She has been waiting for a while.
Let him complete with the question. This TCS one, then Shreyoshi can ask and we can wrap up the session then.
Okay.
Could you repeat?
We have one more question, Divya, please.
Consider this TCS question first.
Yeah, this TCS question was, what would you suggest to people who are already there in some company like Tata consultancy services like TCS and aspire to be in Google someday? Like, what do they need to show to the interviewers? Like, they already have an experience in hand. So what would you suggest for people like that?
Yeah, so like I have a coworker, not at Google, but at ADP that she worked at Tata in India, and she was working at ADP now. I think, like, honestly, I don't want to say the wrong thing. Like, I don't know exactly what you have to show going from another company to Google. I don't really know what you really have to show, but I think at that point, if you have a certain amount of years of experience, like 3 to 5 years of experience, I would say reach out to a recruiter right away. Like, you should be proactive and just go to a recruiter
through
LinkedIn, and I think they will listen to you, because like they're already looking for that. And I don't I think the competition's already less, for people that have experience, and that, like, I think you have more chances of a recruiter talking to you back. So I would go straight to a recruiter on LinkedIn if I had that much experience.
So guys, I keep repeating that please start using LinkedIn. So now I guess you'll take my words seriously and you'll start using LinkedIn wisely.
Yeah, and make sure your picture makes you look friendly and not like pretentious or scared. Like some people take pictures like this, like with their eyes open and like startled. Don't take pictures like that.
Please
like,
don't say you're talking about me.
Smile. No, I'm not talking about you. Like, smile in your pictures. Okay?
Okay, Shreyasi, can you please unmute yourself and ask your question? We are about to wrap up the session.
Thank you, ma'am, for the opportunity. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I'm very inspired from both of you, and I just wanted to ask 2 questions, but now I'm going to merge it up. Please, can you guide me? I wanted an internship in early years of my college. So what should be my priority as a student, as I have to study for the college too? And what do you think about the web development as a scope?
Okay. So first of all, I would be prepared for the interview. Okay. Like, if you get an interview, make sure that you're good enough to pass it. Okay. But besides that, make sure that your resume shows businesses that you have the skills. Don't just say say the skills, like every job has a different requirement of what they're looking for. So make sure that in your resume, you say, oh, I know that technology. I've done a project in that technology. Make sure that your resume really tells the person that's going to read it that you can work at their company right away. Even if it's not really true because we're new, that's not going to happen that right away you're going to pick up the computer and you start blasting away code. But just make it in your resume sound that you're capable and competent to do the job that they're looking for you to do. I think they'll stand out. So web development as the scope. So I'm more of a back-end guy. I love how the UI, UX, all that looks really nice. But I like the logic of the back, I want to be involved with the logic. So Google already had the opportunity to do some front end for the project that I did. Never did front end in my life. So it was super hard for me. But and it came out pretty decent. It wasn't ugly. It didn't look like Craigslist, at least. So it would look nice. And I think web development, this is my opinion, that I think that as a web developer, I think it's harder and there's more competition, I think, than a back-end developer, in my opinion, because I think that a lot of people that don't have all these boot camps, I don't know how it's in India, but in US, all these boot camps are teaching you web development. They're teaching you Angular, JS, all that stuff. And they come out of boot camps ready to do some web development. Now you have to compete with all those people to get a job as well. But if you come in as backend, they don't have a lot of boot camps for backend. So it's just because backend isn't sexy. It's you can't really show it. You say oh, I built this function and it's numbers coming out of it. It's no one knows what the heck that's doing.
So someone is asking that which job has more scope, between front end and back end. We are getting the comments.
Yeah. Which one has more scope? Oh, damn.
Looks
I don't know.
They don't want to wrap up the session at all.
I don't know which one has more scope, but I think web development has more competition. So I don't know which one has more jobs, but I think more competition is in the web part.
Sir, may I ask one last question?
Guys, please be quick. We are running out of time.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, sir, actually, I wanted to ask that currently I'm in first year. So what will be good for me, either learning coding through projects or just joining a course online, because the basic problem that arises is of getting your preparation organized. Because if I'm just working through projects, then there might be instances ki I am on my own and taking much more time than what is required. So how to deal with that?
You wanna?
Yeah, I would probably focus on a plan that involves learning all data structures, implementing each one of them, then finding the optimal solution, and then studying algorithms.
And I would say do like the out of the two options you said, I would say do the one that's a course.
Yeah.
And find maybe udemy.com or like something like that. That's what I did. And I built like those projects that I built on udemy.com were the projects I put on my resume to get the internship. And then the internship eventually led to an interview, at Google. So it's not a bad idea to do those projects, even if they're not like the most awesome projects. And they're basically tutorials, but like you could put those on your resume right away, and like I think that helps you because you get stuck and then you could just put play on the video and see how they did it. And then you're unstuck. And then you can just keep doing that. And then like when that gives you more confidence, and then you can do your own project later. So don't like crawl before you walk kind of thing, like do something easy, let them hold your hand the whole way. And don't feel bad about it. Like feel proud that you finished the course, because I think like 90% of the people don't even make it past the second lesson. Like, so just be happy that you did it.
Okay, thank you.
You got it.
Sir, actually, I have to ask a question, sir.
Please wrap up now. I think we are running out of time. And
ma'am, just last question, please. Ma'am, actually, sir, actually, I have to ask.
Guys, we can have another session also. So let's wrap that.
Okay, so fine. This is the last question that we are taking up, and we'll wrap up the session after this. So please be quick with your question, whoever is asking now.
Sir, actually, I am having a doubt that the prestigious institute in our countries, such as IITs, NITs, triple ITs, so they are having also the same skill set which we are having nowadays. So why would Google hire us? Why would Google hire us than from the IITs and NITs and triple ITs?
So let's make it more common this way. I don't think they might be knowing about what's going on in our country. So the question is more about.
I know IIT though. Like I know that. In Rutgers, there's a professor that went to that school, and he's the one that actually taught me like software methodology. So like I know that's a very prestigious school. Like
like
I
he's
think
asking
the CEO of Google went there, I think. So
what does Google prefer, college or the skills?
Okay, so
also
like
college or course or if anyone has acquired any online digital certification course.
Okay,
if he's not from technical background.
Okay, so like but that's kind of like a completely different question, because like I'm gonna stick to just comparing colleges. So I take that question like very personal, because I know what you're saying. You're talking about like the Stanfords, Waterloos of the world versus like the Rutgers of the world, right? Like, so I would say like there's people from all over the world, different colleges, prestigious, non-prestigious, no school certificates that make it to these prestigious companies. So the question that you're trying to answer is like, why would they hire me? That's what that's what your resume is about, right? Why should they hire you above someone else? Like, you have to stand out. It's not gonna be easy. You have to show them that you can stand out. And it's not about where you came from or what school or anything. It's about like, why do you stand out among other people? Like, that should be your mindset the whole time. But don't use that as a crutch to say, oh, I can't make it to the top tech company because I didn't go to IIT or whatever. Don't do that to your life, because like if you do that, you're already giving yourself the destiny that you're not gonna make it. Why would you do that? Like, you can make it, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Like, you have to find a way to do it. That's all engineering is having a problem and finding a way to solve it. And now your problem is, I want to make it to the top tech company. How am I gonna do it? Or are you just gonna stay there and just say, destiny says I am never gonna make it? Like, don't ever accept that. I wouldn't accept that.
Okay, so I think we have a lot of interaction today. So with this, it's our extreme pleasure to have you guys here with us, and thank you so much for taking our time for us. And with this, I would like Utkarsh to please take up and wrap up this session. And also after this, I would just make a small request from you guys. Can you please share your experience, like for the session? I think it was the first of its kind for you as well, as Arun has said before. So yeah, Utkarsh, after you, please hand over to Arun sir for
Okay.
continuation.
Thank you, Aaron and Ashley, for taking out your precious time and taking this interactive session and wonderful session for us. And some guy also offered to edit some of your YouTube videos for you.
Awesome. Great.
If you don't get the time. So
Yeah,
I would like to tell all the participants. Yes.
Oh, he could just like comment me on one of the videos, and I'll talk to them through email or something.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so that guy would have heard you. So I would like to tell all the participants that Aaron and Ash run a YouTube channel with wonderful videos focusing on the interview preparation and for the big tech companies and many more technical videos. So you guys can check out the channel. We are providing the link in the chat box.
Comment box.
So please like and subscribe their channel. So
yeah, you'll get
I hope
amazing
all the
stuff there.
participants
We are
enjoyed
following it
the
since last month and it's really good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. So I hope all the participants enjoyed the webinar and are inspired by your achievements, Aaron and Ash. And I'm pretty sure that the valuable knowledge you gave us, you provided us, will definitely help us to grow our careers to new heights. So thank you guys once again for joining the session, and thank you, Aaron and Ash, for being with us here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciated the time. I was honored that you guys even invited me.
Yeah,
like,
we're honored that you guys invited us.
This is our first ever webinar or talk, and it's been an amazing experience. And I'm so happy to meet all of you guys. Really cool.
Yeah, it's really a pleasure to be here and to be able to talk to you guys, and you guys are running this very smoothly. I'm very impressed.
Yeah.
So props to you guys, and thank you for having us.